Max Verstappen is probably the best driver on the current F1 grid. With the last 2 world titles in his name and regarded as the favourite for the next one, Verstappen is smashing all the esteemed records on every step. What do former F1 champions think of Max Verstappen? Nico Rosberg began his journey in the sport in 2006, driving for Williams before ultimately finding his stride with the dominant Mercedes team. But it was in 2016, in a nail-biting season that kept fans on the edge of their seats, that Rosberg finally achieved his dream of becoming the World Drivers' Champion, defeating none other than his fierce rival and teammate Lewis Hamilton by just 5 points. Rosberg solidified his place in F1 history. The 2016 World Champion believes Max Verstappen has already established himself as one of the best all-time, following his impressive victory tally throughout the year, with Verstappen having claimed a record-breaking 15 wins in 2022. Rosberg said he's a double world champion with all the race wins that he has, more than Fernando Alonso. He's already one of the best of all time. And I think he's only getting started. He's going to confirm that in the next decade, certainly. His level of driving is phenomenal, and it's great to witness that. Verstappen's many victories came in all forms, with wins from 7 different positions on the grid, including a memorable triumph from 14th at the Belgian Grand Prix. Rosberg also stated his belief that Verstappen can already be ranked as one of the top 5 greatest drivers of all time. He said he has the fighting mentality just like Michael Schumacher and Ayrton Senna, and he doesn't make mistakes anymore. No teammate has been able to keep up with him, and we are talking about Pierre Gasly and Sergio Perez, who are not exactly bad drivers. Verstappen has blown my mind this year. He had a bad start to the season, and Ferrari was superior at the time. He then went on to have a historic season with a record-breaking total of 15 victories, with relatively few pole positions, 7, often winning by moving forward. He will always be among the best 5 drivers. Certainly, he has won 2 world titles at the age of 25 and has already won more races than Fernando Alonso. He has enormous talent and is now complete. Jenson Button is a British racing legend whose name is etched in the annals of Formula One history. He competed in the sport for an impressive 17 seasons, from 2000 to 2017, and won the coveted F1 World Championship in 2009. Driving for the then underdog Brawn GP team. As one of the most respected drivers of his generation, Jenson Button's opinion on the top performers in Formula One carries significant weight. So when he was asked to name the best drivers he had ever competed against, the world was all ears. Unsurprisingly, Button's list included some of the biggest names in the sport, including Michael Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, and Mika Hakkinen. But the former world champion also added a surprising new entry to this elite group, Max Verstappen. Button's endorsement of the Red Bull driver is well deserved. Verstappen's stunning performance at the 2016 Brazilian Grand Prix, where he surged from 14th place to finish 3rd, was a true masterclass in overtaking. The young Dutchman showed incredible skill, precision, and courage, pulling off a string of breathtaking maneuvers that left his rivals stunned. Button said, "I have to say Max Verstappen. I didn't race with him for many years, but seeing his performances in tricky conditions like in Brazil in 2016, I mean, that is just out of this world. Staggering what he can do with the car. He always arrives at turn 1, and he looks totally out of control with the car, and any other driver would have crashed 5 times by the time he turns into turn 1. But he just keeps it away from all other cars and just threads the needle." Verstappen's talent was clear as soon as he first appeared on the grid in 2015. At that stage, aged only 17. It was not until 2021 that he had his first opportunity to become driver's champion, with the Red Bull RB16B proving to be a challenger that could compete at the very front of the grid. In doing so, he denied Lewis Hamilton a record 8th drivers' championship. He repeated the same feat in 2022, with emphatic dominant performances throughout the season. In 1997, F1 world champion Jacques Villeneuve recently revealed in an interview that he believes Max Verstappen deserves to be world champion, despite being skeptical of how things unfolded at the 2021 championship deciding race in Abu Dhabi. The Canadian, who returned to the NASCAR Cup Series in 2022 as a part-time driver, claimed that the Dutchman was on top of his game throughout the 2021 season and earned his much-awaited maiden championship victory. Describing his thoughts on what's to come next, Villeneuve said he was on top of it all year, race after race, and it's good for the sport anyway, because that way, Lewis has to come back to try to win his 8th championship to be aggressive and try to win it. In addition, after Verstappen's stunning win at the 2022 Hungarian GP, Jacques Villeneuve branded the Red Bull driver as a machine. Verstappen started the race at the Hungaroring in 10th place after a problem in qualifying, but sensationally met up with the leading pack, who were 10 seconds ahead of the Red Bull at one point, and a brilliant strategy call gave Verstappen the win. Villeneuve said, "Max is a machine. It's amazing. He wasn't even tired yesterday. I don't even think he needs a holiday. He is driving so strong this year, and the team doesn't make mistakes. And when something does go wrong, he and Red Bull always create the best conditions to put things right. They don't put any pressure on themselves, and then they play it brilliantly. If Verstappen keeps driving at this level, and Red Bull also keeps developing, it will be very difficult to stop them." Villeneuve also pointed to the fact that the Red Bull car seems to have been developed more in the direction of Verstappen's driving style, which has come at the detriment of teammate Sergio Perez. Villeneuve said, incidentally, it seems that the car is falling more and more in Verstappen's direction. Sergio Perez has lost his mojo a bit since Monaco, which is really strange. He is having a hard time since the car has been updated, as if it works better with Verstappen's driving style. Before that, it was the other way around, which is strange. That could be because Verstappen is more involved. But it's not like they are saying now we're going to develop updates which make Verstappen drive better than Perez. Mario Andretti is one of the most successful drivers in the history of motorsport, a true legend in the motorsport world. Andretti has proved time and time again that he knows what it takes to win. And when it comes to identifying future champions, Andretti's opinion is not to be taken lightly. In fact, the racing icon had nothing but praise for Max Verstappen, the latest driver to join the exclusive club of Formula One World Champions. After Verstappen clinched his second consecutive world championship at the Japanese Grand Prix, Andretti was quick to shower the young Dutchman with compliments. According to Andretti, Verstappen is a perfect example of what an F1 world champion should be: talented, determined, and hungry for success. But it's not just Verstappen's current success that has earned him Andretti's admiration. The former F1 champion also noted that Verstappen's 2022 win has put to rest any doubts over his previous season's victory, proving once and for all that Verstappen has what it takes to be a true F1 champion. He said there's nothing better than being able to repeat a championship, especially after all that went on at the end of last year, doubts and so on and so forth. But he is deserving, as you can see, obviously, in the best possible way. Dominating so far this season, and he will probably dominate for years to come. He's just a perfect example of what a world champion should be. Commenting on where he feels Verstappen's greatest strengths lie as the Dutch driver starts building an enviable legacy within the sport, Andretti said he believes the Red Bull driver is now a fully polished competitor. Andretti said, he's where he needs to be right now. I mean, he's complete, that's all I can say, and then his racecraft is superb. Of course, a lot of credit to the team because the strategies are always right on. When you have all that going for you, that's it. He's a tough one to beat at the moment, and that looks like it will be like that for the foreseeable future. Now over to you. What's your thought about Max Verstappen? Let us know in the comment section below.